Okay, so now let's talk to Jenna. I think actually this is one of our questions. What is the current? Oh wait, no, there's a fine for clamming. I think that there's a different question later on in the game about the price of her clam chowder, I think.
What can I get for you, Nancy?
Since we haven't met, there's only one way you could know my name.
On the day my Aunt Iris turned this place over to me, she said, Jenna, you're about to become a real good listener. And darned if she wasn't right.
So you own this cafe?
Aunt Iris left it to me 3 years ago. It's been in the Devlin family since the day it was built, which was back in 1866 or something. So, you're visiting Katie Firestone. My condolences.
Your condolences?
Me and her don't see eye to eye on a couple of things.
You mean like the whale?
That orca out there should be rejoined with her pod as soon as possible. Period. End of story. No matter what Miss Fancy Schmancy's science degree says. Other people may be bamboozled by all her talk of data charts and field tests and monitoring whatnots, but not me. The only thing she wants is to get that whale into an aquarium. It wouldn't surprise me if Katie's been secretly feeding it. Which is against the law, by the way. And you know what else? It wouldn't surprise me if she trashed her own boat, because she knew that after that meeting last night, everybody would assume that Holt did it and not want to vote for him. I got an idea. Let's change the subject.
What do you know about the Shanghaiing that used to go on around here?
It never went on, that's what I know. Shoving grown men into passageways and carting them off to ships never to be seen again? It's just a big, colorful, tall tale. Never happened.
Does Andy Jason ever come in here?
Everybody comes in here. Know how some people can't go a day without coffee? People around here can't go a day without a bowl of my clam chowder. In fact, if you ever want a free sample, just say the word.
So Andy Jason is one of your regulars?
Actually, he only comes in once or twice a week. Says he's too busy. Of course, the reason he's so busy is because he's too cheap to hire another person to help him run the place. Kinda surprised me when I heard he was trying to buy Katie Firestone out. Must have something up his sleeves, all I can figure.
Think I could try a bowl of your clam chowder?
Coming right up. Next one will be on the house, too.
That was delicious.
Here, let me get rid of that for you.
It's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, hasn't it, though?
Okay, so let's talk to Andy Jason, who I believe should be here. Sometimes Whale World is closed. Okay, good. It's not closed.
Hi there. Welcome. What can I do you for?
Are you Andy Jason?
That's me. How'd you know?
I'm Nancy Drew. I'm a friend of Katie Firestone's. I saw your business card on her boat.
Nice to meet you, Nancy. Any friend of Katie's is a friend of mine.
Even though she keeps refusing to sell out to you?
I must admit, that is a little frustrating.
You've got quite a setup here.
It's my mission to see that everyone who comes to Snake Horse Harbor leaves with a greater appreciation for marine mammals. And if I make a buck in the process, that's cool too.
Why do you want to buy Katie out? She can't be taking that many customers away from you.
I don't like her taking any customers away from me. And frankly, with this whale doing its orphan thing out there, I'm losing a lot of customers to her.
Isn't the whale just as good for your business as it is for hers?
Katie convinced the fisheries service that she should be allowed to monitor the orca's condition, which means she can get right up next to the whale while my boat has to stay away.
Katie takes passengers with her when she checks on the whale?
Paying passengers, as many as she can safely fit.
What do you think should be done with the orca out there?
Nothing. I think people should just leave it alone. I mean, why do we humans always think we know best? We can barely deal with ourselves, let alone a whole other species.
Someone ransacked Katie's boat while she was in town this morning. Made a real mess.
Wonder if it's related to those burglaries.
This actually looked more like vandalism.
Maybe Katie came back before the thief could get around to stealing anything.
What kind of stuff was stolen in those other burglaries?
Food, tools, clothing, electronics. There was no sign of forced entry, no trace of who did it. Sheriff's still scratching his head.
Whoever ransacked Katie's boat tore a bunch of parts out of her engine. It's like they wanted to make sure she couldn't go anywhere for a while.
That's too bad.
In a way, it's kind of good. I mean, for you at least.
Very true. As long as her boat's out of commission, I'll get all her customers.
Thanks for your time.
Drop by again.
Okay, so here's one of the answers. the fine for clamming without a permit is 138.43.
Perfect.
Okay, so I am not going to explore
Miss,
all
please
of
don't
this.
touch that.
Miss.
Wow, that's a beauty. Interesting.
So I'm not going to go in here yet. I mean, it's just a bunch of like whale facts and games. We'll have to do that later. But first, let's go to the lighthouse. And there's quite a few things that we can find at the lighthouse. We can try to get into the lighthouse, which we won't be able to do yet. We can also try to find the crab there. And there's like a little beach. You can like walk on the beach and see and explore other things.
Yuck! I'm not picking them up.
Like this Atlantic herring.
These would be great for rock skipping.
Nancy wants to pick up rocks for rock skipping. Here's a crab. That's a female, so we put it back. More rocks. And we can try to get in here.
What do you think you're doing? Those signs over there say no trespassing, which means keep out, which means you, girlie.
Girly?
Leave.
But I just...
Now.
So Holt gets mad at us for trying to go into the lighthouse. Here's a male, so we'll take him. There's also a strange piece of driftwood.
SS. Maybe this broke off from a ship.
Which Nancy takes because it's suspicious. She wants to figure out why that is here. Naturally, as anyone would.
There's something in that bottle, but it's stuck on those rocks.
Nancy wants another bottle with a note inside of it, so we have to skip rocks. I swear that this type of puzzle is in every game, at least for the early games, because it's in this one, it's in Secret of Shadow Ranch, which is the next game. It was in Haunted Carousel as one of the games. It was in Scarlet Hand too. I don't remember if it was in... I don't think it was in Ghost Dogs of Moonlake, but...
I already have some rocks.
You can only take 3 at a time, so you have to work with that. I'm really bad at these. Okay, I'm just gonna try all of the angles on high power. 'Cause I don't really know. Oh, there you go. Okay, so this one also says Rosebud and has a different set of numbers. Great. Before we do anything else, let's call Bess and George. We can also call Frank and Joe. First, let's call Bess and George.
Hello?
Hey, Bess, it's me.
Hey, how's it going? Grab the phone. It's Nancy. While George picks up, I'm gonna turn down the heat under my roo.
Under your what?
Hey, Nance. So, how's your vacation going?
She wrecked her roo.
Fine, except for the fact that just before I arrived, someone vandalized Katie's boat.
What?
Don't worry, we're both fine. The engine of the boat was damaged, but Katie's working on it.
Why would somebody do something like that? Uh-oh. I bet it's got something to do with that orphan killer whale.
You know about that?
Katie told us about the whale when we called to tell her you were on your way. Someone vandalized Katie's boat because of a whale?
Because of Katie's opinion as to what to do with the whale, which she expressed very loudly in front of a lot of people last night.
Katie does have a mouth on her, especially when the subject is marine life.
Did they find any fingerprints?
Katie wouldn't let me call the sheriff.
Why not?
She said she was afraid her insurance company would raise her rates.
Well, she doesn't have much money, I can tell you that. Uh-oh, Bess, is that supposed to be smoking like that?
Oh no! Darn it!
Darn what?
My Rue, it's ruined.
Oh no, she wrecked her Rue.
It's not funny, George.
Yes, it is, Bess.
What's a roux?
A carefully heated mixture of flour and butter. I was going to use it to thicken my gumbo.
You're cooking something?
She's hooked on this cooking show called Feasting for Fitness.
Let me guess. It's hosted by a guy, and he's very cute.
That happens to be true, but I watch it because I like his philosophy. Eat in moderation and eat only that which is made out of fresh ingredients and cooked with great skill, care, and judgment.
When did all this start?
2 days ago. Yesterday she cooked, or should I say ruined, crepes.
They weren't ruined. I mean, you could still eat parts of them. Anyway, I want to hear what you're doing, Nance.
I can't help but think it's a little weird that Katie didn't call the sheriff after her boat was vandalized.
You think she's trying to hide something?
I know she's your friend, George, but I just got the feeling she wasn't telling me everything.
Well, it's not like she's my best friend or anything, but what would she be hiding?
This one woman, Jenna Devlin, she suggested that Katie trashed her own boat in order to discredit Holt Scotto and keep him from becoming harbor master.
So are you going to confront her?
I don't really have anything to confront her with.
Good, because as I recall, Katie doesn't do confrontation very well.
My gosh, George. Is there anything else Nancy should know about this so-called friend of yours?
Katie's fine. She just has a few edgy little quirks, that's all.
Great. That's probably what they said about Lizzie Borden.
Holt Scotto and whoever vandalized Katie's boat seemed to be fond of the word metal.
It's not exactly a word you hear every day.
It's not exactly hard proof either.
What else did this Scotto guy have to say?
He's tired of environmentalists always getting their way, like with that orca.
Do you think he has a point?
I can see why he's upset. I mean, that whale is making it difficult for fishermen like him to make a living, yet nobody seems to care. Must be very frustrating.
The bottom line is, he had a motive for vandalizing Katie's boat. Don't turn your back on him, Nan.
Jenna Devlin went ballistic when I brought up the subject of Katie and the whale.
What's her problem?
She's convinced that Katie just wants to study the whale, not really help it.
Sounds like a candidate for your suspect list to me.
You know, Jenna Devlin may have her faults, but being a bad cook isn't one of them.
What kind of stuff does she cook?
She's famous for her clam chowder, which is outstanding.
Well, don't just stand there. Get me the recipe.
I'm pretty sure it's a family secret.
Does Jenna own the cafe or just run it?
She inherited it. The place has been in the Devlin family for centuries.
Whoa. Buildings that old are usually haunted, you know.
Oh boy, here we go.
Well, they are.
I can't figure out if Andy Jason is friendly for real or if it's because he's basically a salesman.
What does he sell?
Whale watching tours. He keeps trying to talk Katie into selling her company to him and becoming his business partner.
Think he wrecked her boat so she'd have to go into business with him?
Could be. Katie is allowed to get right up next to the orca while he has to stay 300 feet away. He doesn't like that.
I wouldn't trust him, Nan. Once a salesman, always a salesman.
Remember my neighbor, Ray Olaf? He was a salesman, but he quit.
Yeah, to go to work for a company that repossesses pets when people can't pay their vet bills.
She's right. Don't trust him.
You're gonna love this, Bess. I found a message in a bottle.
Oh, that is so romantic. What did it say?
Actually, I've found a couple of bottles, and the messages are all the same. Just letters and numbers and the word rosebud.
That's not very romantic. Well, maybe the rosebud part is.
Well, it must mean something to somebody. Just keep your eyes open and keep asking questions, Nan. You'll figure it out.
I better get going.
Me too. I gotta go braise my brisket.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Hello?
Hi, Frank. It's Nancy.
Hey, Joe, lock her up and then get to a phone. It's Nancy.
He's locking someone up?
Goldie, she's not a someone. She's a something.
Hey, Nancy. How's life in the Pacific Northwest?
Well, someone ransacked Katie's boat just before I arrived.
Wow, that's great.
I knew you were gonna say that.
She's got a mystery to solve.
She's supposed to be on vacation?
Crime never takes a vacation, Frank.
Let me guess. That was Goldie.
Bingo.
She's this dog we found. We're waiting for her owner to come get her.
That's nice of you guys.
Well, unfortunately, Unfortunately, there's a problem.
She's not housebroken?
She's as big as an SUV.
Fully loaded.
She's in the garage. I'm upstairs. That's how big her bark is, so you can imagine how big she is.
What kind of dog is she?
Great Dane.
Yikes! How does somebody go about losing a Great Dane?
Good question.
Enough about us. Let's hear about this case of yours, Nancy.
I get the feeling that even though Katie lives and works in Snake Horse Harbor, she's still pretty much an outsider.
Why do you say that?
Because frankly, nobody around here seems to like her very much.
Like who?
Like Jenna Devlin, the woman who owns the Hot Kettle Cafe.
Why do you think she doesn't like her?
She's convinced that Katie wants the orca captured instead of returned to her pod, and it drives her up the wall.
Uh-oh. When emotions run high, so does the probability of bad behavior. Keep an eye on that one, Nancy.
Talk to you later.
Bye, Nancy.
See you around the compass.
I think it's supposed to be see you around the campus, like college campus, but Joe is Joe. And we love him for it. Okay, so let's try to figure out some more of these questions so we can go on the kayak. Okay. So we need to look up Morse code. This will help us figure out what that message means on Holt's quiz. So you can take a picture of this or just like, I don't know, do it piece by piece. But basically the answer is vote for Scott, I think.
Wrong.
It's, what is it? Vote for Holt.
Correct.
Okay, what else? A schooner is a boat with at least two something. What is the name of the knot below? Okay, so we can look up stuff about boats, sailboat types, and click on schooner. Schooner is a boat with two or more masts. Okay, so there's that answer. And then knot samples. So this is our knot, I'm pretty sure. And it's a bend. So fisherman and bend. So fisherman,
Perfect.
bend.
That should do it.
And this mast.
Very good. I have to bring him a male Dungeness crab?
Yes, and we already have that. So that's good. Okay, and if you need the questions to the other, or the answers to the other questions about the North Star and all that, you can look at this one. And you can basically find all the answers on the web except for the fine for clamming without a permit and the male Dungeness crab. Let's check our email. Another email from Hannah where he made a mess in the kitchen. Okay, so we can bring this quiz back to Holt, but we can also start researching this piece of wood. We might be able to ask Katie about it first, but I'm just going to go straight to this book.
Complex morphological issues? Microscopic tracheid analysis? Microtome surfacing?
About the author, Dr. Perdovici is the assistant director of the National Wood Laboratory located in Crivitz, Wisconsin. Okay, so we should call her to figure this out. Okay, never mind. We can't call her yet. I think we do need to talk to Katie about this.
What's up?
Sounds like Holt Scotto was one of the people who didn't care for what you had to say last night.
He and I never see eye to eye. Now, if I were a fisherman, I'd be right as rain no matter what nonsense came out of my mouth. Fine harbor master he'd make.
I talked to Jenna Devlin when I was at the Hot Kettle.
What nasty rumor is she spreading about me today?
Do you two not like each other or something?
She doesn't like me, that's for sure. She thinks I'm a know-it-all from the big city.
I found this piece of wood on the beach. There's something strange about it.
What do you mean? Let's see it. Ouch, those splinters are sharp. That is odd. It looks like it's been in the water a long time, but if that were the case, those edges would be dull. That looks like it broke off of something just recently.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Any idea where it came from?
Could be off a cargo ship, I guess. But you know who you should ask? Casey Porterfield. He works at the Maritime Library in Port Townsend. You should give him a call. His number's 360-555-3095. He loves checking out stuff like this.
See you in a bit.
I'll be right here.
Okay, so next step for the wood piece is to call Casey, but I'm kind of tired of talking to people. So let's go kayaking. And we want to find 2 more messages in a bottle, and I think both of them are in the...
You again?
I think we have to find both of them while we're kayaking.
I'm sorry for trespassing like that.
So what do you want?
I've got a male crab, I think.
Let's have a look. Right as rain. Just ace the rest of the quiz and you'll be home free. I'll take care of the crab for you.
I finished that seamanship quiz.
Let's have a look. Right as rain. Congratulations. Here's your GPS. Just turn around and follow the instructions. I'll take care of the crab for you.
Great, thank you. See you around.
Watch out for Caddy.
Hi, Nancy. How's it going?
I found a bottle floating in the water with a strange message inside.
Most, if not all, the notes you find in bottles around here were put there by Hilda Swenson. She was this lady who retired here with her husband about 20 years ago. They made a ton of money in Hollywood as writer-producers and just wanted to enjoy life. Wonderful people. Very active. In fact, Hilda was mayor for 8 years. But then, out of the blue, her husband died. They'd been a team for so long that, well, she pretty much died then, too.
What do you mean?
She just kind of lost it. Started talking to walls and doing bizarre things until one day she rode to the island across the channel that she and her husband owned and never came back.
Are you sure she's still alive?
I leave a couple of bags of groceries outside her cabin every week, and sometimes I can see her inside. But whenever I try to talk to her, she won't answer.
Did she ever leave anything behind that might help decode her messages?
She left everything behind. Problem is, it's all been sold, given away, or thrown out. We'll never know what's going on in that mind of hers.
You know, your clam chowder really is awesome.
Say no more. Next one will be on the house, too.
I like how Jenna just
that was
keeps giving us
delicious.
free
Here,
chowder.
let me get rid of that for you.
It's been fun talking to you.
Later, Gator.
She literally gives us free chowder the whole game. It's kind of great. Okay, let's go kayaking and find the other 2 bottles that Hilda Swenson apparently leaves around. We don't actually use the GPS this first time. Or I guess we can try to make our way to this flag. We can do that. Here's a bottle. W123. Okay, so the trick with kayaking is you don't want to go past any of these little things. You just want to like turn around. Okay, and here is the marker. And our last bottle, N48. So now that we have all of the messages, I don't think Nancy ever says this, but they're coordinates. So N48, and the other green one is 42.517. So that's the first coordinate.
No signal.
Okay, no signal. Okay, so N 48, 42, 517, and then the pink one's W123 08.615. And then create waypoint. So now we have a new destination. So let's go there. Which is here.
I've never been to this beach before.
You
Stop to build a sandcastle. I could use a break.
You can build sandcastles, which is fun. I always build the same sandcastle, basically. So,
Time to go back to work.
not very original, but up here there's a fish that you
Oops,
can
must be ticklish.
make swim around. And lastly, there's this weird puzzle box in some seaweed and a bunch of flags, which you're supposed to put in Rosebud. And you use the flags from the Hot Kettle Cafe to type in Rosebud. So, R is this symbol, or is this flag? O S E B U, and this is D.
I don't know what all those letters mean, but something tells me this may come in handy.
So port is, I forget, but I think it's left and starboard's right. So basically it's left, right, right, left, left. And we'll use that later.
This is the weirdest story I've ever read.
A very weird story. And then this is a letter from Hilda Swenson. Congratulations, I hope you enjoyed finding this thing because you and I are just getting started. See, I've got a secret. Well, two secrets actually, but I don't believe in just handing things to folks on a okay, whatever. I don't know what that is.
Send me something from the top of the lighthouse in Morse code?
Silver platter. That's no fun. Isn't the way life works either. To get anywhere in this world, you gotta get out there and be curious. You gotta ask questions and shake things up till you get answers, and I know you're curious or you wouldn't be reading this. So what I want you to do is send me something from the top of the lighthouse in Morse code. As for what I want you to send me, read the little story I've enclosed. That'll get you started. The story makes no sense, you say? Well, you got into this chest, didn't you? Anyway, eventually you'll find the answer to my first secret. As for my other secret, if you're smart, and I have a sneaking suspicion you are, you'll figure it out along the way.
Something is fishy in Snake Horse Harbor.
And I'm not just speaking for the hell of it. Oh, and no funny stuff, because I'm watching you, Hilda. So, the trick with this story is that, the names, or like Alpha is A, and again, that clue is in the Hot Kettle Cafe, but Alpha's A, Sierra's S, then Kilos is another one, so the first word is ask. And then S again. No, ask, next is hotel. Hotel, and then Sierra's, so HS, and then A, Juliet, J, Juliet again, J, Delta D, so ask HS.
So far, so good.
JA, sorry, AJ. JD, then G. Wait. Yeah, I think it's G. Or maybe it's not. It's F, Foxtrot, and then Oscar O, and then R for Romeo. And then H, I, L, lima beans, L, D, A. So F-O-R, H-I-L-D-A,
I'm getting there.
For Sierra, and then G is golf, so golf, India, G-I-F-T.
Ta-da! Ask HSAJJD for Hilda's gift.
So Holt Scotto, Andy Jason, and Jenna Devlin.